You may think the 50s was a nice time to live.
We're as prosperous as ever.
I mean, I don't think it was a terrible time to live in many respects. I mean, it depends on, you know, your race, your socioeconomic status, you know, all that stuff. But, you know, generally speaking, I think there was a lot of advantages to living in the 50s. It was a time of great economic prosperity in this country. The rich were paying much closer to their fair share. America was in a period of economic expansion. So, yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, the 50s were a great time to live. But, you know, never has there been a period in history that's been perfect. And so there are major criticisms that one could have of the 50s as well. The, you know, stifling social repression, which I'm sure is going to come into play here, but I don't know how it'll be addressed. But we'll see.
My wife loves me, my children respect me, and I'm able to provide for my family with a single income. But I'm secretly gay! Deep down, I'm so gay! But it's the 50s! I have to be with my wife instead of at a leather bar! No!
That does suck. Yeah, I mean, like, if he's secretly gay, I mean, like, that does suck for him, so I don't know. Like, what's the problem here? Like, yeah, this was I mean, this is still reality for fucking people, man. There's still dudes in the closet living this life because in their area that's what's expected, or in their family that's what's expected. So this is not just something exclusive to the 50s. There are still you know, men, women, and otherwise who, you know, would love to explore these facets of themselves, but are repressed and cannot do that because they're pigeonholed into a lifestyle that's not really reflective of who they actually are. This is not exclusive to the 50s, but certainly the 50s was a worse time for it than today.
A lot of people have asked me, hey, where do you do your live streams? And the answer to that is that I do live streams called Abandon Hope every Sunday on the Pessimist Productions Patreon. That is linked down below. There is all sorts of other stuff on that Patreon as well. It is about $7 a month, and I think that we offer a pretty generous amount of content in exchange for that membership. So if that's something that interests you, be sure to check out the Patreon link in the description section of this video.
My husband is strong and masculine. He can easily protect and provide for us all. And
I love how they're like, does he, during these segments where he's trying to show like how he, like his appreciation for the 50s, does he think that these like attributes of these individual humans are reflective of like real life in the 50s? Or is this mostly based on TV sitcoms that, you know, have been filtered down into his you know, perception from that time? I'm thinking it's probably the sitcom thing, because this is kind of like a goofy idea that like human nature was different back in the 50s. Like my dad grew up in the 50s, and his parents fought. His dad was an alcoholic and an abuser, smacked his mom around. And this was all in the 1950s, like the golden age. Guess what? Human beings still did fucked up shit back in the 1950s. Human nature was not some drastically different thing back then. And, you know, economic prosperity might have helped take some of the pressure off of the American family in some of those regards. But it certainly didn't make it vanish away.
the food at the grocery store is delicious and healthy.
And you can still get delicious, healthy food at the grocery store. I don't know what is that? Is it like is this like some GMO conspiracy or something? Like, food still tastes good. In fact, it probably tastes better now than it did in the 1950s. But, and honestly, like, if you really want your food to be better than what you get at the grocery store, you could always go to farmers markets and stuff like that, which are still a thing all over the country. You can still go get your food at a farmer's market if you really want to. So there's no one stopping you from doing that. So this, I don't know, that hasn't changed. Like, I don't even understand.
But I'm gay! I'm secretly gay!
Isn't this, couldn't we at least change it up? Okay, I get it. Because if we change, So they're all just going to do that. The kid's going to be gay. Probably the dog is going to be gay too. They're all going to be secretly gay. It's just going to be one note. They're all just gay. So they're trying to make it seem like any sort of left criticism of the 1950s style nuclear family is just like, what about people who are secretly gay? Couldn't it be the fact like, hey, I'm a woman. As a woman, I have no financial independence from my husband. I'm not even allowed to start a checking account, or I'm not even allowed to have like a credit card. I'm not allowed to start an account without my husband. I'm not allowed to close an account without my husband. If my husband fucking rapes me, it's not rape because there's no such thing as rape in the context of a marriage. I am, my employment opportunities are limited. None of these things that like a woman in the 50s might actually experience. The only problem, I'm secretly gay. Because that's the only thing that you could possibly say against the beautiful 1950s is that people were secretly gay. And for secretly gay people, it was awful. For literally everyone else, it was paradise. And that's why those social institutions had to be dismantled. Okay, got it.
So gay! I just want to go be gay at the bathhouse! No! No!
I have plenty of friends, and we play outside all day. But I like to read, too. I'm not sat in front of a screen 24/7.
I mean, television still existed back then. I mean, like, playing outside and stuff had its own dangers and like, you can romanticize it and be like, oh man, kids today, they just sit in front of these phones sad. And back then kids used to play outside. By the way, kids still play outside. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if you ever like walked outside yourself and seen children playing. They still do that. I don't know if you're aware, but yeah, they probably do spend a little more time on their phones and stuff. But back in the day when kids were more like free range and shit, they they could be beaten up by bullies and stuff, and that would just be boys being boys. Their emotional needs were not being like really met. Like, I don't think that kids in the 50s were less prone to like depression and anxiety and stuff like that. I think that like the reality is probably just that more of them were just told, suck it up, be a man, quit whining, walk it off, Dad, I just feel like I don't want to do anything. I can't feel motivated. Walk it off, boy. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I know that, rates of diagnoses of anxiety and stuff like that have gone up. And, some of that could be economic in nature and some of that could be social in nature. But I think a lot of it just boils down to people being more open to the diagnoses. People being more likely to see their kid depressed, and instead of being like, quit being a moping little crybaby, they're like, oh crap, what's wrong with my kid? Maybe I should try to fix this.
And I'm secretly gay! I'm so gay, I can't take it anymore!
Man, it seems like this family's problems could be solved with one conversation at this point, If everyone in the family is secretly gay, like, you guys got the perfect thing going at this point. Like, you can all right, pretend to be a main. This is actually a great idea for a sitcom. A fucking 1950s nuclear family where every single member is secretly gay. And so they're all in on it together. They all pretend to be the happy, like, normal family by day. And then by night, they go off and have their weird gay trysts and stuff. And, they're always worried about the townsfolk discovering and stuff. But the townsfolk are so blithe and stupid that they'd never do.
Oh, to hold it in! No one can ever know! How
So it's really just this one joke the whole time.
gay I am!
Cool. Is this Daily Wire malarkey? No, this is Freedom Toons.
Oh, Baxter.
No one cares if the dog is gay. You could be a gay dog in the 1950s with no problem. Two male dogs hump in the 50s. Most they're going to get is like kicked. Like, stop that. Like, dogs can be gay. Dogs can be openly gay in any era of history, and no one cares. So I don't understand that one. But maybe I'm overly taking things overly seriously now. But here's the thing: is like when the joke doesn't ring true, it's never going to be funny for me. Like if I didn't know what I was talking about and I really just thought like the only criticism the left has of the 1950s is that, you know, people were secretly gay, then maybe I could laugh at this, be like, oh, you got him. That's so true. But since I know that's not true, it's just like, what are you talking about? There's no joke here at that point. I think people, generally speaking, are probably happier not being repressed. But you know, I guess other people might view the situation differently. Other people might look at it and be like, well, you know, actually, I think that a lot of people are happier being, you know, suppressed, repressed, and you know, hiding who they truly are from the world, because that's probably more, you know, gratifying to them, right? The only thing, I guess it was kind of funny when the dog didn't necessarily say it was gay, but just like, you know, it was just kind of matched the cadence. You know, like that was kind of funny. That was kind of cute. But other than that, there was nothing funny. If right-wingers stopped being repressed, I doubt there would be a right wing. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. They love the repression because that's how they breed. They breed via repression. I mean, I don't mean that that's how they genetically breed. I mean, that's how they ideologically breed, you know? Look, here's how this works, okay? We repress the fucking shit out of you, right? And eventually you're so full of seething hatred that we are able to basically use that to manipulate you with. All right? So, okay, after being repressed for a few years, you're super pent up and angry inside. So now we're going to finally reveal who the enemy of the week is. This week it's trans people. Get them. Actually, no, it's Mexicans. Get them. Like, okay. So that is kind of the major way that right-wingers spread ideology. Just repress people and then turn their hatred against whatever target is convenient that week.